What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harrison, and today we're going to be talking about more tariffs. I hate politics, just about in every aspect, but obviously the tariff situation is political, economical. It's impacting our beloved video games in a crazy way. Obviously, we just found out, I believe yesterday, that China and the U.S. are coming to a 90-day halt on the tariffs, and brought everything significantly down. Now, you would think, as a logical person, that maybe, hey, tariffs are down. That means the prices of video games are going to go down. Obviously, Xbox did their big price hike for everything on May 1st, and announced that their premium video games, I guess, are going to be $80, towards the holiday. And I have given my respect to Microsoft and Xbox, because something that's very important that I'm always going to talk about going forward with $70 video games, $80 video games, $100 video games when GTA 6 comes out, because I mean that's all but guaranteed at this point, right? Is variable pricing. I've talked about it before. I'm going to talk about it now. I think Xbox has done a very good job with variable pricing, with Gears of War E-Day coming, or not E-Day, Gears of War Reloaded coming out. That's 40. They, South of Midnight was 50. So like they've really played around with these different price points on games that just make sense. Like I don't think they could charge $70 for South of Midnight. I love that game, but it just doesn't feel like a super not high quality, but a super premium experience. So I have appreciated their approach to variable pricing. On Nintendo, on the other hand, not so much. I've talked about it before, but Luigi's Mansion 2 being 60 versus Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong being 60, Metro Prime being 40, like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me in terms of their pricing. I think a lot of their remasters should have been like $40 through the entire Switch generation, but I digress. But it is what it is with Nintendo. They can kind of charge and get away with however they want to, because they're Nintendo, and they can. And if you look at their financials, which they recently put out, Donkey Kong sold well over 1 million. So like all their remasters have done very, very well. I'm not saying that those games are bad, but they're remasters, right? They're not proper remakes or anything like that. There hasn't been significant amount of work put into that to port those over to the Switch. Um, so yeah, that's where I think Xbox and Nintendo differentiate a little bit when it comes to variable pricing. Um, that being said, and the point of the video is we should not expect prices to come down at all. At the end of the day, these video game companies are a business, and they want to make as much money as possible. And any single time they can have the excuse, I use that kind of loosely, to increase their prices, they're going to. They're gonna say that tariffs are the reason why. Um, and then they're going to do that. Nintendo said that they didn't look at the tariff situation when they were pricing the Switch 2 initially, but you kind of figure that they probably had to. They probably wanted to. They probably were wanting to price the Switch 2 at $400, but they said, hey, this is just speculation on my part. I don't know. I actually know anything, of course, but they probably said, okay, let's put it at 450, bundle in Mario Kart for 500. That way we have that price jump immediately, and we don't necessarily have to increase the prices again, for the launch date. Now, I think it's important to know that Nintendo has emphasized that launch Switches will remain the same price. Who knows what that looks like, in 3 to 4 months from now, going into the holiday. It could bump to 500 for the base model and 550 for the bundle. So we just don't know. But corporations are greedy. They want to make as much money as possible. You know, I'm to the point now where Xbox, they've kind of been hitting on all cylinders right now. Like their games output is finally catching up to, maybe not necessarily PlayStation, but to Nintendo at least. They put out some really high quality good games. We still have Doom this week. We have Gears of War coming in the future, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So they're at their kind of peak right now with like their video game output, but their console is all but dead. Nobody's buying it. Nobody's going to buy it at this higher price. So they are kind of pricing it so high that it kind of feels like they don't want people to buy an Xbox, and they just want to get people in the ecosystem. They said, okay, hey, our console is super expensive. Maybe get a PlayStation and get all your Xbox games on PlayStation going forward. Or if you have a PC, get Game Pass. Whatever the case is, if you have a Fire Stick TV, play Game Pass on your phone. So many different options. We already know the marketing they've had with everything's an Xbox, so that's kind of true in a way. But yeah, I don't. This generation has been very strange. You know, I mean, look at the Switch itself. Never came down in price, not one single time. Usually 4 to 5 years into a console's life cycle, we would have had one, maybe even two price drops. Never happened with a Nintendo, and this was before the tariff situation. So I just don't see anything getting a price reduction ever. And I guess you can't ever say never, or never say never, but it's just been so strange. As someone who's followed gaming my entire life, like I said, 3 to 4 years, 4 years in, there's been some sort of price drop, or they've made like the slim version or the elite version with a 360, and then the other model dropped in price. But we've never really had that with the Switch at all. So I wouldn't expect it. You know, even if the tariffs go back to normal, or even get reduced even lower than what they already are now, or before. You know, I'm not an economist, so I don't know exactly the ins and outs of how tariffs work and stuff like that. But even if they go back to normal, I'm still going to say that the prices of everything is going to stay the same. Now, if they go down, the Switch is going to be just what it is now. They're not going to reduce the price because it's launching at this price. But that just good news for people that didn't get a Switch too, is that price is not going to increase in the future. But anything else, Xbox, you know, Nintendo, none of that stuff is going to be dropping in price. Xbox is still going to move forward with their $80 games because Nintendo already did it. I'm surprised PlayStation hasn't come out and said that they're increasing the price of their stuff. Maybe they're just holding out a little bit longer to try to be the good guy in the situation, you know. But you know they're also itching to announce it so they can get their price increases as well. And yeah, they may have to in the future just because of the tariff situation. So we'll see what happens. I don't expect a pricing decrease in the near future, or even, you know, a year from now. I think it's just going to be what it is. And it's a bummer. It definitely is. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me? Yeah, it's definitely a bummer situation to think about, when we just, you know, if you review history, that's always happened, and this has just been a strange generation. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed my rambling about this topic, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.